So this is the review session for midterm 2 for our course. और इसके अंदर जैसे मैंने बताया था कि we're gonna have storage और PaaS services, Azure PaaS services, PaaS compute, and identity and access management, right? Identity, security, and access management. 5, 6, 7 slide decks, plus the networking part, the addressing part, basically. So मैंने क्लास में कवर किया था. I will review it one more time briefly, then go over the slide decks. First and foremost, as I mentioned, one of the big mistake, one of the big issue that I had with everyone, most of the guys, right? जब आप ये चीज़ करते हो इसके अंदर, which was, for example, जब कोई address space हो and you're doing this, whatever, right? I mean, I mentioned this, you cannot have a number above 255 over here, right? क्योंकि यहाँ पे 8 bits हैं. So think about it when you do these things. जब भी कोई question आता है आपका, you need to be able to figure out and analyze when you don't have the direct answer. Think about it. What are the possibilities? What are the constraints? And try to deduct your answer, right? This is one of the key things that as students of engineering and computer science, you should be able to think through it, right? Or sometimes you don't have answers obvious. This is not a memorization course, right? This is an engineering course. And you should be able to analyze things. Answer कभी आपके पास नहीं होता. You should be able to exclude the possibilities based on the information that you know, right? मैंने बहुत दफ़ा emphasize किया है, शुरू से emphasize कर रहा हूँ. And one of the ways you do that is you spend time, right? जब भी नए concepts आते हैं, you have to spend time. It's very, very critical to be able to absorb new material and new concepts. You have to spend time and revise it multiple times. And this is part of your learning to understand how do you learn. For example, I know how much I have to revise. I know about myself कि एक चीज़ को सही तरह समझने के लिए how much time I need to spend. And this is a very critical understanding that you develop about yourself, is how I am going to learn this thing to a point where I can have good, solid understanding of this concept, right? So this is an important learning process. Anyway, we have discussed this many times. Let's just focus on the stuff. So, यहाँ में मैंने आपको बताया था कि क्लास में we discussed this addressing, right? ये address space है और जो range है इसकी, this is like this, right? This thing goes from 24 कि 24 means कि I have 24 bits which are masked, and these are the 3 octets which comprise of the 24 bits. I have only the last octet to work with and complete last octet, right? So it can go from 8 0 0 0 0 0 to 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, right? And that is 0 to 255 from basic binary arithmetic, right? So that is straightforward. उसके बाद मैंने आपको बताया था कि again when you are learning new things, one of the things that you do is when you analyze things is to come up with some of the shortcuts. और उसके लिए मैंने कोई shortcut बताई थी. To remember कि 224 is 256. Right? Remember this one. You can calculate 2 raised to power 8 is 256, right? And then you can go from there. This is 2 raised to power 9, right? और इसमें मैंने आपको बताया the way to read this is कि आपको एक बिट एक्स्ट्रा मिलती जा रही है, सबनेट मास्क कम होता जा रहा है, आपको बिट ज़्यादा मिलती जा रही है, right? That is the idea, that you're getting more and more bits. या आप कैलकुलेटर पे भी वैसे कर सकते हो. I think it's you can use the calculator. But you get the idea, right? Um, 2 raised to power 12, and so on and so forth, right? And this is 2 raised to power 8. तो इसी तरह आप ऊपर जाते रहोगे, 25 becomes smaller and smaller, right? So this is straightforward. You can calculate it. तो यहाँ पे हमने एक एग्जांपल की थी, and it's pretty encompassing example. You can figure out lot of these things and lot of other concepts from here. तो हमने कहा था कि हमारे पास 20 है, which is 4096. तो सबसे पहले उसकी address range is this. And how do we reach this one, right? Without looking at all this stuff below, right? If I just look at it, okay, I need how many times for 256, right? So I need 16 times, right? If I do, for example, if I do calculator, right? If I say 4096 divided by 256, right? 16. So that tells me, since for each 0, this is going from 0 to 55, each one has combination of 256. I need this one go from 0 to 15, right? So this, if this one goes from 0 to 15, I will have this range 16 times, right? I will have 256 addresses 16 times, which will give me 4096. So this is a very, again, simple way to take a look at this one, right? What the range will be. इसको अगर मैं डबल कर दूं, right? इसको मैं डबल कर दूं, 4096, if I say 4096 times 2, right? 8192. So if I have, for example, slash 19, which is 8192, right? Which is again 2 raised to power 13. Again, मैं आपको different तरीकों से चीज़ें दिखा रहा हूँ, just to reinforce the ideas, right? It's very simple mathematics. I just want you to understand the concepts behind it, right? तो अगर मैं 19 को लूँ, for example, right? If I take this one, or I say, for example, right? And I say 19. Then this is 8192. So how do I know up to where I need to go? Again, straightforward, right? 8192 divided by 256, 32. So that means the address range will be right, it will be from 0 to 31, right? They'll give me 8192 addresses, right? It's zero base, so that's why we are saying 0 to 55, ये 256 हो जाएंगे, and 0 to 31, this is 32. So 32 times 256, it'll give me 8192, right? Again, very straightforward, simple mathematics, okay? And again, I can keep on going, I can keep on adding, and I can go to the point where I need more addresses. I can go and start hitting this one as well, right? ये range आपकी complete कब होती है? This is 256 times 256, where you take over all zeros, all of these octets, right? 256 times 256. This is 65536, okay? So if I do, for example, 10.0.0/16, this is 65536. So address range is 10.10.0.0, 10.10.255.255, right? ये complete combinations जो होते हैं इन दो last octets की, they'll give me 65,536 addresses. Okay. Now, if I start decreasing from 16 to 15, this octet will start changing. Okay. So understand this. नहीं उसमें फॉर एग्जांपल अब मैं आपको कहूँगा फॉर एग्जांपल आई विल से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर आपने 15 चाहिए या 14 चाहिए then it will be 10 अगर मैं स्टार्टिंग आपको 10 दे रहा हूँ then yes it will go from 10 to 11 and all that right क्योंकि मुझे ये पता है कि 65536 are in this one right so if I need double of this one right times 2 if I need this one addresses then what I need is over here is 10 to 11 right this will be 10 to 11 ठीक है and that will give me 65536 times 2 addresses okay क्योंकि मैं इसके सारे कम्बिनेशंस ले रहा हूँ वो 65536 मिलेंगे तो मैं इसके दो दफ़ा कम्बिनेशन लूँगा एक 10 के साथ फिर 11 के साथ तो मेरे इतने एड्रेसेस हो जाएंगे ठीक है सेम थिंग जो हमने यहाँ पे किया था एग्जैक्ट सेम लॉजिक जब हमने सिंगल कम्बिनेशन था इसका दैट वाज 256 हमने इसके 32 कम्बिनेशंस लिए तो इट बिकेम 8192 राइट यहाँ पे हमने 16 कम्बिनेशंस लिए इसके तो 4096 और हमने यहाँ पे सिंगल कम्बिनेशन लिया है जीरो के साथ ये वाला खाली चेंज हुआ है it gave me 256 addresses right so exact same logic is following nothing special okay I hope it's clear again idea is very straightforward right if I say 15 okay so I'll get one more over here और ये बेसिकली यू कैन सी 16 के ऊपर मुझे दोनों जीरोस मिल गए थे मैं इसको 8 से डिवाइड करूंगा मुझे ये वाला भी जीरो मिल जाएगा मुझे 3 ऑक्टेट्स क्यों क्योंकि 8 है 8 ऑक्टेट्स आर मास्क 8 बिट्स आर मास्क राइट तो यहाँ पे 16 में ये मेरे 2 ऑक्टेट्स मास्क हुए हैं तो मुझे ये दोनों पूरी चीज़ें मिल रही हैं 24 में मेरे 3 ऑक्टेट मास्क में मुझे एक पूरा ये मिल रहा है राइट so I'm just going around in different ways just to show you the mathematics and the logic behind these numbers right that's the idea इसी तरह अगर आप इसको देखो इसमें एक और चीज मैं आपको दिखा दूं तो just to show you this अगर मैं इसको right if I do this one then of course it becomes 8 सबनेट मास्क क्यों क्योंकि जब ये जीरो हो गया आई कैन प्ले विद दीज वंस देन आई कैन डू दिस राइट नाउ इसमें एक और चीज है ये तो मास्क मैं सेट कर रहा हूं राइट आई कैन डू द सेम थिंग विद द 24 विल से आई कैनॉट चेंज एनी ऑफ देम राइट इफ आई डू द सेम थिंग विद 16 के अगर मैं करूंगा इसके साथ अब मेरी I cannot change these two I can change these ones right and similarly तो मुझे एक्स्ट्रा मास कम होता जा रहा है and I have more basically bits to play with right मेरी रेंज ज़्यादा होती जा रही है ठीक है so 24 के अंदर if I do this one I cannot touch these 16 के अंदर I cannot touch these and 8 के अंदर I cannot touch this right so you see how this thing is and what the ideas are right तो यहाँ पे मेरी रेंज इंक्रीज होती जा रही है मुझे एक्स्ट्रा आईपी एड्रेसेस मिल रहे हैं बट यहाँ पे मैं आई कैन प्ले विद ओनली दिस here I can play with this and here I can play with these right so that's the idea so please be very very clear इसमें ऐसी कोई स्पेशल चीज नहीं है but you get the idea what is happening right addressing and subnet masks and then of course on top of this you should be able to break it down right you should be able to break it down into subnets and the same logic will flow ओके किस तरह मैंने ब्रेक डाउन करना है, कहाँ से कहाँ जाना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैंने यहाँ पे 15 तक गया था. इफ़ आई वांट टू गेट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इसको मैंने ब्रेक डाउन किया था. आई हैड दिस प्रॉब्लम 4096. सो सबसे पहले वी वांट टू एबल टू गेट टू हमारी रेंज क्या होगी. दिस वाज द रेंज, राइट. एंड देन हाउ डू वी डिवाइड. तो मैंने यहाँ पे आपको क्वेश्चन दिए. लेट्स से आई गिव यू दिस क्वेश्चन कि आप इसको 4 512 आईपी एड्रेस रेंजेस के अंदर डिवाइड करो और 2 1024 के अंदर. ओके, लेट्स से दिस वाज द क्वेश्चन. तो 512 मीन्स इट्स अगेन फ्रॉम ओवर हियर /23. आज जब /23 यहाँ पे लगाओगे, दैट मीन्स अगेन /24 आपको 256 देता है. दैट मीन्स आप यहाँ पे यू नीड 2. It'll go from 0 to 1. 0, that'll give you 256, and then 1 will give you 256, it'll become 12. Okay, so range will be 10 10 0 0 to 10 10 1 255. So you have twice 256 addresses, that'll give you 512. Okay, then you just continue from over here, right. The next one is straightforward. 2 to 3 again is 0 based, right. Then 4 to 5, 6 to 7. Now the next one is 1024. If 0 to 1, 2 combination of 256 for 512, we need 4 over here. So this one goes from 8 to 11, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? This one goes from 12 to 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, and that'll give me 1024. तो यहाँ पे मेरे 1024 एड्रेसेस आ गए यहाँ पे 2 में, और यहाँ पे मेरे 512 आ गए. तो मेरी पूरी रेंज वाज 10 10 0 0 10 10 15 to 55, right. Again, it's simple math once you get the idea, right, what is going on. So be prepared for these kind of things. I can give you whatever starting point of whatever, and you should be able to figure out क्या करना है मैंने, और क्या I mean क्या रेंज क्या होगी, उसकी सबनेटिंग किस तरह होगी, राइट. प्लीज बी वेरी वेरी क्लियर अबाउट दिस. अगेन इट्स स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड, नथिंग स्पेशल. एनी क्वेश्चन? ओके, यहाँ पे मैं रिकॉर्डिंग स्टॉप कर रहा हूँ ताकि आई